on the air, live from the Texas Motor Speedway. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight as qualifying already underway. So we are going to jump right into it. Got to give a big thanks to our normal peeps, if you will. Paul Zoda and PZ Overlays for providing tonight's overlay. Some of the most beautiful overlays in all of iRacing. So to get your own, you can find Paul Zoda on his Facebook page, PZ Overlays. And of course, we do have to give a big shout out to our good friends over at PH Aware. Pulmonary hypertension, one of the most difficult to diagnose terminal illnesses on the planet due to the fact that it masks itself as so many other terminal illnesses. He's on and off into turn number 3 with a head of steam. Down through the quad portion of the oval. And Burchett jumps up to second quick. And it looks like one and done for Burchett as qualifying getting ready to wrap up here. So Littleton, Burchett, Trevarthen, Schmidt, Vos, Micklemore, Wubker, Allen, and Mintz, your 9 that decided to brave the Texas Motor Speedway tonight. Grand National Series using the iRacing B car. Field currently made up of 7 Chevy Camaros and 2 Mustangs. So, nobody braving the Toyota. Take a quick look at the weather conditions for tonight. Relatively cool for Texas. 71 degrees ambient air temperature. 89 degrees track temperature at the start of this piece. So, that is currently where we sit. And that is going to do it for qualifying, kids. So congratulations to Brian Littleton for taking tonight's pole award. Take a quick look at our grid. Of course, starting up on the point, it's going to be Pennsylvania Posse member Brian Littleton showing the way. He's joined with Joe Burchett out of Virginia. Row number 2 is going to go to Florida native Michael Trevarthen, and he's joined with the Midwest Jeff Schmidt. Dylan Voss out of the Northwest, and the Thunder from Down Under, Josh Micklemore, is going to be starting in row number 3. Row 4 is going to go to Midwest Jeff Wubker, and representing the Plains States, Skylar Allen Sr. And starting shotgun on the field, Indiana native Eric Mintz. So, 9 cars scheduled to do battle here tonight. And again, I do thank all of them for showing up. This is, of course, a presentation of the Go Fast Racing Series, their Grand National Series. They do this every Friday night. If you want to get in on future action, go ahead and drop a comment below in the post-race replay comments with your iRacing screen name. We'll get that passed along to league management and see if we can't get you added into some future action. And for those of you wondering, yes, Sam is MIA tonight. And Joe Burchett opting to take an EOL. So that is going to move Jeff Schmidt to the front row with Brian Littleton. And you'll have to bear with me, folks. It's been a little while since I've been privileged to broadcast a Go Fast Racing Grand National Tour race. But Sam is experiencing what I've been experiencing on Friday nights, and that is, unfortunately, real-life work getting in the way. But Sam will be back in the booth with me tomorrow night for the, I believe, season finale. No, we will be at the, where the heck are we tomorrow night? I don't know. Bud Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Pace car getting ready to make that hard left turn onto pit road. Littleton gonna have the button when the pace car does move. And about the only thing that's left for me to say is, Grandpa, it's time to pop a Viagra because it's time to get it on in Texas.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag comes out. Littleton pulls the trigger. Schmidt actually leads him to the line. Michael Trevarthen all over the back bumper of Brian Littleton right now. Schmidt right there too in tow. Dylan Voss holding down the inside line, but he's got a challenge on the outside. Skylar Allen Sr. looking to make some headway early here. 134 laps of scheduled distance as they work their way out of turn number 4 already into the quad portion of the oval. The dog leg, if you will. Give that lap to Littleton. Right now, Skylar Allen Sr. and that is Dylan Voss really throwing bombs at each other right now. Voss playing duck and peek as they haul off into turn number 3. One thing to keep in mind, Go Fast does not have any fast repairs in the bank. So these guys looking to race it pretty clean for the first at least 3/4 of this race, so they have something left at the end. Voss working on the high side of Skylar Allen Sr. right now, trying to make some headway. In the meantime, Littleton, Trevarthen, and Schmidt are starting to check straight out. Joe Burchett started shotgun on the field, took an EOL at the beginning. He's already up into the top 7 as Voss finally clears Allen. And here comes Micklemore. Allen all over the back bumper of Voss, though. Everybody minding their P's and Q's in the early runnings here. Little bit of arrow push for the 93 of Allen. And he now falls into the clutches of Josh Micklemore. Almost contact. Another coat of paint. Those guys would have been in trouble coming through 1 and 2. Here comes Burchett to the inside of Allen now. The teammates slugging it out in the early going. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Trevarthen looking for a way to get by Littleton. And the top 4 have just flat checked out. 3/4 of a second from Dylan Voss in 4th at the caboose of this freight train right now. And you can see the gap in some of the camera shots from Voss in the 19 all the way back to Micklemore in the 384. There's a really good shot of the distance between 4th and 5th. Up to 9/10 of a second now, as these guys are really starting to pour the coals to it. Still only 9 laps in, so going to be interesting to see how this one plays out tire strategy-wise. And for those of you who have been wondering where we have been the past couple of nights, that is because iRacing in the States has actually been moving its server farm, updating the servers, and has been under maintenance for the past couple of nights. So Top Fuel Racing has postponed its Wednesday night race in Iowa till next week. And as we got a pass for the lead, that's Trevarthen with a head of steam now. Littleton had it at the line. Trevarthen now bombs it into 1 and just, there we go. And Schmidt starting to get the blinkies on the outside. Vos working the inside now. Got to give a big shout out to everybody that's in the live chats. I don't have it turned on, but hi. And if we do have some streaming issues, some stuttering, some whatnot, I do apologize. I am working on that. There's some stuff on order, but it won't be in until next Friday. Meanwhile, Trevarthen has flat put his foot to it. 0.4 of a second is the lead now for Trevarthen in the deuce. Littleton leading that freight train, trying to reel him in. Got Vos coming with him. And Skylar Allen Sr. has put it behind the wall. As this field's starting to get more strung out than a frat boy on a bender. And we're only working lap 11. Littleton reeling back in Trevarthen right now. Had to let the tires cool off a little bit. Had a run going in and lost a ton of momentum there. Trying to get the drive off of 2. Gets a good toe down the back straightaway. Is he going to try something into 3? Nope. Just going to put the car in clean air and keep it there. Doesn't want to mess around too much as Dylan Vos right there with him. Schmidt starting to fade now. I wouldn't put it past Schmidt to see how racy they were getting up there and went, yeah, you know what? It's a little too early for that, guys. So Schmidt just backing out of it, trying to keep that car under him for the first 3/4 of this event and look for Jeff Schmidt to move forward when it's time to go with about 25 to go. So Trevarthen showing the way in a Mustang, and then a whole gaggle of Chevys behind him. Vos getting by Littleton. Littleton tries to cross him over, coming off of 4. Drag race to the stripe. Give that one to Littleton. And all that racing is letting Trevarthen check back out. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the TeamSpeak server looks like it may have crashed. Yep, it has. So, no post-race interviews tonight. No interviews at all tonight. We're just going to do a straight broadcast, folks. Because TeamSpeak hates me. So, Trevarthen, Littleton, Vos, Mecklemore, Schmidt, Burchett, Minch, Wubker, and Allen. And Allen has already, like I said, put it behind the wall. So 8 cars still running in this one. And if I didn't know any better, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't know any better, Littleton looks like he's just trying to time runs right now to see when he can make a move and what it's going to take to make a move, as they're currently working lap 17 of 134. Not really any close battles on the track right now, other than this 3-car kind of breakaway that's going on, as there's almost a full second from Dylan Vos to Josh Mecklemore. And you see Mecklemore there in the black car in the background. So Trevarthen showing the way. Littleton trying to figure out what he can do to get back by him. That's what your top three looks like right now. Trevarthen showing the way. Littleton sitting in second, just about a quarter of a second back, or another quarter second back to Dylan Vos right now. Oh! What the hell happened there? Let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Keep your eye on the deuce here, folks. As Trevarthen looks like he may have caught the apron, slid up, and bounces it off the wall. Littleton just blasts him in the bumper. Everybody loses a ton of momentum. Littleton with some nose damage. Vos was able to get on the binders and quick enough to stay off both of them. And Trevarthen is fading quickly. A lot of right side damage on the deuce. So we're going to go back live here as Josh Mecklemore puts Trevarthen back to fourth. Trevarthen trying to stay with him as best he can right now, as they both reeled in Dylan Vos now. Mecklemore all over the back bumper of Vos as we are working lap 23 of 134. Still not quite to the 100 to go mark, but we've seen some pretty decent action so far. And again, if you'd like to get in on future action here in the Go Fast Racing League, they do this every Friday night. Starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the server goes up for 50 minutes of practice, followed by a quick qualifier, and then the race. You can throw your hat in the ring if you would like to get involved. Drop a comment in the replay comment section with your iRacing screen name. We'll get it passed along to league management. As Jeff Schmidt has taken it pit side. So Schmidt, the first one to blink here on now lap 25. So Schmidt already going a lap down. Looks like a lot of right side damage on the 61. So probably going to be pit farming that car the rest of the night. Meanwhile, back out in front, Brian Littleton continues to show the way. A little bit of nose damage on the Michelob Ultra 80 Chevy Camaro. As he now has a little bit of a challenge for him in the form of Josh Mecklemore. Sorry. And Burchett and Trevarthen going at it right now, hammer and tongs. Burchett has gotten by and now sets his sights on reeling in Dylan Vos. Littleton continues to show the way. And Burchett is definitely starting to gain on Vos. Has cut that gap from 0.8 down to under half a second. And if you're Mike Trevarthen, you've got to be kicking yourself right now, knowing that you basically just had to keep the car clean and you could have gotten a good finish coming out of here. Unfortunately, a lot of right side damage on the deuce right now, and he is losing ground quickly to Joe Burchett, who is on just a flat charge. And Mecklemore has reeled back in Littleton. Pennsylvania versus Down Under, as we are starting lap 30. So Littleton, Micklemore, Vos, Burchett, Trevarthen, Minch, Wubker, and Schmidt, the cars that are still running. And we've got a challenge for the lead. Littleton able to keep it wound up on the high side. Micklemore had to back out of it to stay off and loses a ton of momentum, and he's going to lose the spot to Dylan Vos. Vos puts a Metalhead 19 up into the number 2 slot right now. And here comes Burchett. I'm going to go on a limb and say that Burchett may have worn all of the goodie off his tires trying to reel his way through the field already. Setting a torrid pace coming from 9th up to 4th right now. Brian Littleton continues to show the way as they work lap 33. And Micklemore going to be the next one to blink, as is Trevarthen. Look for Trevarthen to start pit farming that car. And here comes Wubker as well. Not a name we've really mentioned a lot of tonight. He's been running towards the back kind of cleanly. See who's going to be the next one to blink as Littleton continues to show the way, stays out another lap. Burchett into his stall. I'm sorry, onto pit road. Looks like 4 Mr. Feelgoods and cans of fuel for everybody as Micklemore winning the battle off pit road. A second to the good over Trevarthen. Now, mind you, these guys have all gone a lap down. Littleton takes it pit side and hands the lead over to Vos. So bonus point for the 19. It sounds like he's coming. Yes, he is. Pit side this time. There goes Schmidt flashing by to get his lap back. Littleton down and away. May have gotten some damage fixed there. Going to be interested to see how this one shakes out. As there goes... That was Micklemore that flashed by. And Jeff Schmidt just inherited the lead. As Micklemore and Burchett going at it. Vos coming out of the pits now. So Schmidt, pitting off sequence, has just inherited the lead. The question is, how long can he keep it? Working lap 37, make that 38 of 134. 3 seconds to the good as Burchett is on a charge. And there goes the blinkies again. Great. Sorry for the video quality again, folks. Working on that. We're going to have something next Friday. We'll be able to do something about this. As Burchett and Micklemore and Littleton going at it right now. That's your battle for third. Littleton on the high side, able to keep it wound up. And here comes Vos. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Joe Burchett on 10-lap newer tires is reeling in Jeff Schmidt hand over fist. And Schmidt knows it's inevitable, just gives him plenty of room. 2 1,000ths of a second at the line for Burchett. And he now just sets sail. And there's your battle for third. That's Vos, Littleton, and Micklemore slugging it out. Vos has it. Littleton trying to keep it wound up on the high side. Still slugging it out with Micklemore. Okay. Littleton just flashes by Schmidt. Schmidt having all sorts of trouble right now. Got into the wall, has a little bit of damage on that right front. Definitely hampering the aero on that 61. Micklemore and Littleton continuing to just throw bombs at each other. As Trevarthen has gotten by Schmidt now. And it looks like Trevarthen may have a little less damage than Schmidt does. Meanwhile, Joe Burchett is just putting on a clinic right now. 0.8 of a second to the good. And I stand corrected. Dylan Vos reeling him in. Vos has cut that lead from over a second down to 0.6. Happy belated Halloween. So Vos starting to reel in Joe Burchett, and they are 2.5 seconds to the good over third place. Your pole sitter Brian Littleton. As Vos dives to the inside through 3 and 4. Going to try to get the run off of 4. Drag race to the finish line. As give that lap to Vos. Burchett just kind of let him have it. And you know what? It's way too early to be running this hard. Burchett got his bonus points for leading the lap. Going to try to save some fuel now, ducking in behind Vos. And for those of you wondering, yes, this is the closest battle on the track right now. Everybody else, a second or more apart. Working lap 50 of 134. This is the Go Fast Grand National Series. They do this every Friday night using the B car in iRacing. If you want to get in on future action, you can drop a comment in the replay comment section with your iRacing screen name. We'll get it passed along to league management, see if we can get you added into some future action here. Burchett looks like he might be starting to fade just a tick. As Vos running a defensive line, trying to break what little draft Burchett has. And for those of you keeping score, 6 official lead changes so far. Your current running order: Dylan Vos, Joe Burchett, Brian Littleton, Josh Micklemore, Mike Trevarthen, Eric Minch, Jeff Webker, Jeff Schmidt, and Skylar Allen Sr., the first one to put it on the hauler. Schmidt doing everything Burchett trying to do everything he can to reel back in Vos. Meanwhile, let's take a look back at Mike Trevarthen, currently holding down the number 5 slot. And it's Josh Micklemore, you can see right in front of him there in the all-black 384. Trevarthen, with left rear damage and all, is doing a hell of a job right now, hanging with Josh Micklemore. Vos, Burchett, Littleton, Micklemore, Trevarthen, your top 5, as we are watching the battle for 4th between Micklemore and Trevarthen. Trevarthen steadily reeling him in. So going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. As we are closing in on the second round of green flag stops. Rather looking to the high side, looking to get some clean air through that radiator on that Ford Mustang. One of only 2 Mustangs in the field. Everybody else running the Camaro. Let us know in the comments, where do you guys stand? Camaro? Are you Mustang? Are you, is it Camry? Whatever Toyota's running this week. Is Jeff Schmidt the first one to blink? He's the first. He had the oldest tires out there. And it looks like 33 to 35 laps is about all these guys are going to be able to get tonight. 4 Mr. Feelgoods and 2 cans of Sunoco Racing Fuel. And Schmidt's down and away. 14.8 seconds. As Trevarthen gets by Micklemore. Micklemore going pit side. We saw those guys pit together last time. They're not going to do it this time. As Micklemore and Minch going pit side as well. Looks like Micklemore trying to get off sequence with everybody else. Littleton doing what he can to try to reel in Joe Burchett. There you see Burchett leading the way. That's second place. As Dylan Vos is 3 1/4 seconds up the road already. Closing in on halfway. Vos, your leader. Burchett sitting in second. Littleton, your pole sitter, trying to reel Burchett in. And there's Trevarthen in fourth. And Wubker, the last car on the lead lap, in fifth. These guys are just steady turning laps right now. .5 seconds to the good for Vos. Tell me he doesn't have this setup just dialed to perfection. And if my eyes aren't deceiving me, it looks like Joe Burchett may have eaten the wall at one point. A little bit of damage on the right front fender of the 41. See if we can get a little better picture. Yes, you can see some damage on the 41, which would explain why he's steadily dropping right now. A lot of aero being messed up on the on the car as he tags the wall coming off of 4 again. Loses a ton of momentum, and here comes Littleton to the inside. Side by side through 1 and 2 they go. Littleton with that right front damage when he punted Schmidt earlier. Or I'm sorry, Trevarthen is who he punted. Still side by side. Burchett able to keep it wound up on that second lane. And Littleton going to duck in behind him. Try to cross him over coming through 1 and 2. Drag race down the back straightaway. That second lane looks like it might be coming in. You guys are able to really let it hang out a little bit more in that second lane, but you are flirting with disaster coming off of 4. Burchett hangs on. And if Dylan Vos has a live spotter, that spotter's got to be loving this right now, as he's now 5 seconds to the good as Littleton finally gets the clear on Burchett. As Trevarthen goes pit side, as does Wubker. And these guys are in trouble. Micklemore on the fresher tires has caught them. So Trevarthen actually pit farming the car now, as he's dropping like a stone, spending some extra time on pit road, trying to get that car right. Littleton goes pit side. And Trevarthen is still in the pits. Finally down and away. The team has fixed as much damage as they possibly can. So Littleton into his stall cleanly. As Vos flashes by to put him a lap down. Micklemore gets by to take over third. Littleton 17 flat. So I'm going out on a limb and saying he probably got some of that damage pulled back out. Micklemore's already flashed by. Schmidt's gotten by, and Eric Minch has gotten by. So that's going to drop Littleton currently to P6. But he has the freshest tires on the track. Meanwhile, Dylan Vos working lap 37 of his stint has a 6-second lead. Over Joe Burchett, who's finally going pit side. So Burchett into his stall. Right sides go up. Vos stays out. He flashes by to put Burchett another lap down. There's Micklemore, who is a lap down as well. So, gonna be interesting to see how this one plays out, as Schmidt gets by as well. Burchett got some damage fixed, as Vos finally brings it pit side. So Micklemore flashes by to get his lap back, as does Schmidt. Littleton's back on the lead lap. Minch back on the lead lap. Wubker back on the lead lap. Right sides are up. Left sides now go up for Vos. Where's Micklemore? There he goes into the lead. Vos down and away. Schmidt desperately trying to reel him in. There's Schmidt going into one with a head of steam, leading that freight train. That's Littleton right behind him. And there's Vos, still not quite up to speed, but getting there. Littleton gets by Schmidt. Here comes Trevarthen. Trevarthen's still a lap down. Spent a ton of time on pit road trying to get that deuce fixed. And Dylan Vos has dropped the hammer. Has the freshest tires on the track and is reeling in Josh Mecklemore, who shows the way. A lot of rear end damage on the 384. But the lead was 8 seconds. It is now down to 5 flat. Dylan Vos is on a charge. Josh Mecklemore has got to be looking in that relative saying, okay, he's coming. What do I do when he gets here? Trap speed going into 187 miles an hour for Mecklemore. 192 for Vos. You're going to see Vos appear in some of these camera shots relatively soon. Mecklemore, Vos, Littleton, Schmidt, Minch, Wubker, Burchett, Trevarthen, and Allen. Allen has already put it on the hauler, so he's going to be scored in 9th. And the lead down to just over 1.5. And there is Vos. Vos has got that rubber band wound about as tight as it can possibly go right now. As Mecklemore has already worn all of the goodie off of the tires on that 384. He's not going to have much to put up as far as the defense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what 6 miles an hour difference looks like going into turn number 3. Let's give the lead back to Dylan Vos. And that is our 8th lead change. 50 to go. Vos already a 2.25 seconds to the good. As Wubker now works on the back of Eric Minch. That's Minch in the 32, Wubker in the 09. That is your battle for 4th as Wubker dives it to the inside going into turn number 1. Little bit of a slide job, checks up Minch just a tick and gets the pass complete as they go down the back straightaway. Wubker starting to turn the wick up now. Minch doing everything he can to try to hang with him. Minch better look in his rearview mirror because here comes Burchett. Burchett throws it to the inside going into 3. Minch just lets him have it, knows that there's not much of a defense that he's got right now, as he is on 27 lap-old tires, as Burchett's only on 13 lap-old tires. Wubker has a big ask right now, as he is trying to reel in Brian Littleton. Doing it with some pace. The question is he going to use up all the goodie on the tires before he gets to him? At 7.3 seconds from Wubker to Littleton. Make that 7.2. Meanwhile, Joe Burchett on a charge. Looking to the inside of Wubker. Can't get the pass done. Ducks in behind him. Going to get the toe through the dog leg. Dives it to the inside, and Burchett up into 4th. Wubker knew he was coming. Gonna duck in behind him, try to save some fuel if he can. Working lap 191 of 134. And Burchett looks like he may have taken a couple turns out of the rubber band, as it was an 8-second gap, now 5.5. And Josh Micklemore is starting to reel him in. The only problem is Micklemore is getting ready for a green flag stop, as he's working lap 32 of his current fuel stint. Vos continues to show the way. And Micklemore takes it pit side. Not quite going to be the money stop for Micklemore. It's going to need to take a splash and go a little bit later. The rest of these guys are going to be able to stretch it to make it the rest of the way, it looks like, if my high-powered Gazintas. Eric Minch and Jeff Schmidt are the only two that are kind of questionable about that, as they're working lap 33 and 35 respectively on their current fuel stint, and we are 40 laps to go, so not sure if they're going to be able to make it from here, but everybody else should be able to make it on one more stop. Vos back out to an 8-second lead. As there goes third place Joe Burchett, flashing by the Aussie, Josh Micklemore. Micklemore on for Mr. Feelgoods and back up to speed. And that's Wubker starting to reel Burchett back in. Burchett lost a little bit of momentum when Micklemore came out of the pits. So Jeff Schmidt is trying to stretch the daylights out of this thing. Currently working lap 38. You got to think he's looking to just do one more stop from here. And he's going pit side this time. So he can make it from here. Eric Minch is going to need to save fuel to do it. Schmidt, we just saw, could do it, as he went 38 laps and it's 37 to go. Make that 35 to go. I can't do math tonight, I'm sorry. 36 to go. So we could be watching the money stops, ladies and gentlemen. "22 laps for Vos. Look for him to short pit it. The question is he only going to take 2? Is anybody only going to take 2? We know that sometimes can unsettle the car. We haven't seen anybody do it yet tonight to try to gamble on track position. As there's Minch and Schmidt coming out of the pits. That is your battle for 7. And Littleton has gone pit side. So inside the window of you can make it from here. And Trevarthen going pit side as well. Vos knows Superman's coming and gives those guys on the fresher tires a lot of room coming off the 4. Going to try to duck in behind and get a little bit of a tow to try to save a little more fuel. 14 seconds to the good over Joe Burchett right now. As Wubker has gotten by Burchett. Burchett has gone pit side. That would be why. So make that 15 seconds to the good for Dylan Vos. Working lap 102 of 134. Wubker has gone pit side, and here comes Vos. Money stop time for everybody. The question is anybody going to gamble on 2 with 22 laps to go? Make that 32 laps to go. Answers that question. The answer is no. 4 Mr. Feelgoods and 2 cans of Sunoco Racing Fuel for everybody. And there goes Micklemore flashing by. Vos trying to get back up to speed. Waste no time. Sets sail and tries to reel in Micklemore. Micklemore currently with 8 laps led, and Vos is reeling him in hand over fist. Vos has just been on a rail tonight. Give that lap to Micklemore as Vos finally gets to the point. And sets sail. Freshest tires on the track go to your leader, Dylan Vos, in the 19. Micklemore with a sizable gap, though, over Brian Littleton. As Dylan Vos, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he's already clinched most laps led. That gives us 10 lead changes. And we are going to check in with your battle for 6th. That's Eric Minch in the 32, Jeff Schmidt in the 61. Schmidt looking to try to rebound, back on the lead lap. The question is Schmidt gone into fuel save mode already? As we believe he can make it from here. Josh Micklemore is the only one that's questionable about being able to make it. As Micklemore is 15 laps into his stint. Schmidt and Minch only 10 laps in. Everybody else under that. And this is your only battle on the track right now, as everybody else more strung out than a frat boy on a bender. 3.2 seconds is the closest gap other than this battle, which is only 1/4 of a second apart. And Schmidt has definitely gone into fuel save mode. 24 laps to go. Schmidt's going to have to go 36 laps on this fuel tank. We just saw him go 40. So the question is Eric Minch going to be able to make it? The one guy in the highly doubtful category is your current second place runner, 4.8 seconds to the 4.8 seconds behind your leader. Make that 5 full seconds behind your leader, Dylan Vos. That's Josh Micklemore in the 384. And Josh is already 18 laps into his stint. So that means he's got to stretch this fuel tank to 41 laps. That's a big ask. I don't see it happening. Meanwhile, battle not for position, but what could have been if Michael Trevarthen hadn't pancaked the side of the deuce into the wall on lap 8. He's battling it out right now with the current third place runner, Brian Littleton. You've got to be asking yourself, what could have been? Trevarthen spent a lot of time in the pits trying to get that car fixed. .20 to go. Vos still shows the way. Micklemore sitting in second The question is, when is Micklemore going to come in and top that tank off? And from the looks of it, Micklemore has gone into fuel save mode. The question is it too little too late? As Littleton's starting to really reel him in. Was 3.1, now down to 1.5. Littleton, we know, can make it from here. As you see Micklemore in front of him there. Let's go on board with Josh Micklemore and see if we can tell if he's gone into fuel save mode or not. And we're going to compare that to Brian Littleton. Looks like Littleton's able to feed it the beans a little bit more. Yeah, Micklemore is definitely backing up his corners a lot more than Littleton is. You could hear Micklemore lifting a lot sooner. As we are 14 laps to go. Vos continues to show the way, almost 1.8 seconds to the good, as this battle for second really starting to heat up. That's Micklemore in the 384, and your pole sitter Brian Littleton in the Michelob Ultra number 80. $12 to go. And Littleton probably has been doing the math along with us, knows that Micklemore can't make it from here. All over the back bumper. As Littleton looking to get up into second cleanly. In lockstep right now. Littleton to the inside as Micklemore eats the wall coming through the dog leg. Kills a ton of momentum as Brian Littleton up into second. Micklemore doing what he can to try to stay with him. Got a lot of pressure from behind right now by the lap car, Michael Savartha. Nine to go. And Dylan Vos 8 seconds to the good. Littleton starting to stretch his legs right now. Micklemore doing what he can to try to hang on. 8 to go. Burchett trying to reel him in. Burchett sits in 4th. 7 to go. You got to think Micklemore right now is going to run it out of gas if he has to. Meanwhile, Brian Littleton 8 seconds to the good over second place, your pole sitter, Brian Littleton. We are going to keep an eye on Micklemore right now as we are 5 to go at the stripe. And Micklemore is on lap 36 of his fuel stint. So the question is, did he save any? And if he did he save enough? As you see Joe Burchett lurking there way in the background. You'll see Burchett appear every once in a while. And he is starting to steady reel in Josh Micklemore. Burchett right now would love nothing more than to come out of here with at least a podium. And there's Burchett way at the top of your screen. It's 3 laps to go. Does Burchett have enough time to reel in Micklemore? Does Micklemore have enough fuel in the tank to make it 3 laps? Pretty much academic right now for Dylan Vos. He is 8.7 seconds to the good. Popsicle sticks are out. 2 more laps. Josh Micklemore has got to be sweating bullets right now. Getting ready to come around for lap 40 of his fuel stint. And Joe Burchett reeling him in. White flag is out. Vos gonna win it. Littleton, pretty much academic. He's gonna get second. Coming to the checkers. Vos takes it. Littleton second. Micklemore hangs on 41 laps on his fuel stint to hang on for your final podium. And runs out of gas going into turn number 1. Holy cow. Jeff Schmidt giving a little love to his teammate. Metalhead Racing, Dylan Vos coming home with the victory. So congratulations to Dylan. Just a dominating performance for the driver of the 19. Watch for him to burn him down here. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, TeamSpeak has completely shit the bed. And yeah. So congratulations to Dylan Vos. Congratulations to Metalhead Racing. Hi, Jeff's mom. I know you're watching. So dominating performance tonight at Texas. Take a quick look at our results. Dylan Vos coming home with the win. Brian Littleton hanging on for second. For second? What? Yeah, Brian Littleton coming home in second. Josh Mecklemore somehow 41 laps able to make it happen for third. Joe Burchett hanging on for fourth. Jeff Wubker in fifth. Eric Minch in sixth. Jeff Schmidt in seventh. Michael Javarthan in eighth. And Skylar Allen in ninth. So that is going to do it for us from the Lone Star State. Be sure to join Sam and I tomorrow for the Major League Esports Catalyst Mint Series. I have no clue where we are, ladies and gentlemen. I'm one of those people that I don't follow the Real World Cup Series. So, excuse me, I don't know where we are, and I'm sorry. And then you can join us Sunday, the one place I do know where we are, because the setup has just been posted. And what a setup it is as the BOFA Indy Classic League takes to Sebring. And we are running the full international circuit there, so definitely going to be interesting to see how those cars come off the long back straightaway into that monster that is turn 17 at Sebring. This is Tony Trapasso for Mr. Skylar Allen Sr., owner of the Go Fast Racing League, saying we will see you next time.